You know, you're the first audience to see the finished movie. That's,
And before we get rolling, let's say hello and let him say a few words to the director, Mr. Bobcat Goldthwait.
Hey, hi, everybody. Thank you, that's very sweet. Thank you. Thanks, the Chicago critics, for inviting my movie to your festival. That means a lot to me. I'm not going to say anything snide. I'm not usually embraced by critics, so that's it's a first, and I'm just trying to let it soak in. So like I said, I'll be back for Q&A and say hello, and there's no pressure. You don't have to take pictures with me. If you don't want to, just say hi would be nice. Okay, thanks a lot.
In my head, the answer is forever, but the question is, how long was that one nighttime scene in the tent? Because that's one unbroken...
Yeah, it's about 19 minutes long.
Wow, holy...
Oh, well, thanks.
It's like a third of the movie. It's like...
Yeah, I didn't really think about how long it was going to be. I thought it was like about, when we filmed it, I caught on right away, but I thought it was going to be about 5 or 7 minutes. But, you know, I was listening to them, and when they would recover, you know, when they started calming down again, then something would happen, a noise was made or something like that. So that just seemed to be how long it should play. We shot that scene 3 times. The first time, Bryce, who plays Jim, his character, he started crying. And I said, that was really good. I just don't think your character would cry in this scene. And he's like, because we'd seen a mountain lion earlier. And it's 2.5 hour drive down a 17-mile dirt road to get to the location. So that's why people are like, well, why didn't they have you know, phones and all that, because it doesn't work there. And someone asked, why didn't they have a GPS and a gun? And it's like, because the first time I went there, I didn't have a GPS or a gun. You know, you don't think about that. So Bryce, I go, Bryce, that was good. I just don't think your character would cry. And he goes, my character's not crying, I'm crying. Why are we filming this out here right now at 3 in the morning after we saw a mountain lion? We could shoot this in the hotel parking lot. No. I was like, that's really good. Use that energy. Let's go again. You know, I was very crazed making this movie. It was my Fritz Caraldo. You know, it was my it was my burden of dreams. You know. I was really possessed when I made this movie. Ever since I was a little boy, I remember seeing stills from the Patterson-Gimlin footage when I was a kid, and then there's a movie, The Legend of Boggy Creek, that I was really into, and a TV show called In Search Of. So I was really into Bigfoot, but when the first time I went up to Willow Creek, which is about 11 hours north of it's still in California, 11 hours north of LA, my intention was to make, I thought I was going to make a Christopher Guest movie, but then when I met the locals, it just seemed better to put them in the movie instead of having people play them. About 90% of the people are locals, you know, just, and they didn't know I was making a horror picture, but...
I think you were making an actual documentary?
Some folks I let in on what we were doing, but other folks I just thought... You know, some of the folks just thought those two were a couple, and so they did the majority of the interviewing and stuff. And so I was at this convention, and this guy had a cardboard cutout of a pointy-headed Bigfoot, and this one guy walks over and he goes, "You disgust me." And he goes, "Why?" He goes, "Look at that head." He goes, "Really? I've seen Bigfoot 3 times, and you're never going to see him because you smoke." They believe Bigfoot hates tobacco, because let me tell you, they love weed, the Bigfoot community, I'll tell you that. They love their grass. But somebody pointed out that this movie is everything contemporary men are afraid of, which is being shot down, seeing another dude's penis, and seeing someone that looks like your mother naked. I have to say it was probably the most fun I've ever had making a movie because we did sleep out there and we did, you know, we did rough it and stuff. Yeah.
I think it becomes pretty clear that, I mean, this guy is, I think he's being serious when he's saying he's trying to make a documentary, but it comes like with some of the narration that he's doing in these interviews that are kind of aggressive. This is going to be a horrible documentary if it ever actually gets made. Like,
I would love to cut that together. What his terrible you know, I just envision it as a YouTube thing, and I actually watched. There's a handful of them on YouTube that are similar to what this guy Bryce, his character Jim, was probably going to end up making. You know.
The actual documentary that it reminds me of is a lot of it's is Grizzly Man.
Wow, yeah.
It's just like this guy messing with something that he should be scared of, and then it messes with him.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's truly I mean, obviously, the Blair Witch comparisons are going to be there, but that is the movie that influenced me the most in making this movie. Was Blair Witch, not Blair Witch, but was Grizzly Man. You know, the idea of this guy whose own folly is the downfall of him and his girlfriend, and the narration and all that. You know, so I guess I wasn't far off calling it my Fitzcarraldo then. So that was the inspiration. And another one, believe it or not, is this movie Paper Heart, which couldn't be further from it. But my friend Charlene Yee made a movie with Michael Cera, and you know, they did a narrative movie where they used real people in real interviews, and so that was the other thing that influenced this movie a lot. Yeah, you know, the big difference in this was, in a way, we kind of edited the movie. You know, I knew that I'd do long takes, and I was always justifying, like whenever there's a cut, someone's behind the camera to justify turning it on and off, or you see them reach over and turn it off. So while we're doing it, we kind of had to get an idea of when the ins and outs would be for each take. So it was a little different than the normal footage when you'd have all the hours and you'd have the different setups and different angles and stuff. So in a weird way, the editing, a lot of the editing was thought out while we were filming, which is a different way, I think, to do a movie. But the script itself was only like 25 pages, you know. So I think like that another influence was doing like Joe Schwamberg's movies. You know, I was a little jealous. So like I was like, oh, I wonder if I could do that, you know, with a group of people I really trust, go out and make a movie. My daughter's a costume designer, and she works and she's also a costumer on movies and commercials and things. And I tell the story in my stand-up, Don't Feel Robbed, if you ever hear it, but it's a true story. And I get this emergency text from her, and it's she was working on this thing Russell Brand was in. She goes, Dad, I have diarrhea. I can't get to base camp where I'm supposed to go to the bathroom, so I went into Russell Brand's trailer, and I'm using his bathroom, his dressing room. I'm using his bathroom, and he just came in. He doesn't know I'm in his toilet, and I have to get back to the set. What do I do? And I text her back, I said, make him feel awkward. When you're finished, say, sorry, Russell Brand, I had to change my tampon. It's Shark Week. And she texted back, Dad, you're the greatest. I love you. Now, she thought I was helping her out of an awkward situation, but really I was like, what could I have her say so Russell Brand won't try to fuck her?
My question was, is there any other like myths or urban legends that you've also been interested in exploring in film?
Sure. I don't know where I stand on any of this, on the bigger scale things, but I think if you're someone interested in telling stories, you're also interested in the possibilities of what if, and that's why I gravitate to all the cryptozoology stories. You know, it'd be fun to send a submarine down to Loch Ness and, you know, have the shit hit the fan too. But you know, I wrote another more traditional, just an out-and-out gore fest. You know, zombies are played out, but there was a minister in Wisconsin who got arrested because he had stolen fetuses, and he had giving Christian burials to these fetuses and got arrested with little crucifixes on tiny graves. I was like, oh, this is beautiful. It writes itself. So it's, zombie fetuses, like critters or gremlins or it's ankle biters is the name of that. But I really loved the movie Dead Alive, so I wrote a movie. That ankle bite is very, 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 I think it's like, well, God bless America, I shot a baby. Here, I'm shooting him, and just, there's a lot of dead babies in that movie. So I hope I can keep making scary movies. I like to make all kinds of movies. I'm making a doc right now that couldn't be further from this. I need to. It'd be more lucrative and it'd be smarter if I just kind of made the same movie. You know what I mean? But I should do that. That's smart of some of my way more successful peers. But
I think World's Greatest Dad is the best Robin Williams movie.
Oh, thanks.
Like 10, 20 years. Amazing. I cried at the end watching it.
Oh, thanks.
I just, because I've seen your recent films, and I've seen Shakes, and I've known you from all the way, I just want to know your mindset, maybe all the way up until this point. I mean, like directing a movie in your mind, like, how did it all come from the guy to this great film, the commentary on, found footage, and also making a horror movie itself. Everything is wonderful. I just want to know your whole mindset.
Can you combine that into like a small answer?
I don't know.
I know it's huge.
That's very sweet.
to end it though, I just love you, so. Thank you. Bobcat, tell us your life story, please.
Oh man, you just made me cry. I've had a shitty week, thanks. That was wow. I thank you. That's all I can say. You just. I just was smoking out front, and I was out there for a long time, and there's only one guy there, and he's standing there, and he keeps looking up and down the road, and he's got a satchel with him, and I go, hi, and then he's looking, and then he finally goes, are you Bobcat? I go, yeah, and this is after I was standing next to him for 10 minutes, and he pulls out a stack of 12 photos from Police Academy for me to sign. And I signed them, And he says, I'm going to see Michael Winslow next week. I go, oh, well, tell him hi. And he goes, oh, when's the last time you saw him? I said, 27 years ago. And he says, did you have a fight? I go, no, man. They stopped making those movies a long time ago. And, sometimes I thank you. I can't even talk, man. You made me speechless, which is pretty good. Thank you. It was very sweet.
Anyone else? You all stayed. Get up there. Let the world hear you.
They are rebooting Police Academy.
I heard that.
I say they're going to do what they did to 21 Jump Street. They're going to make it a comedy this time. I wrote a new movie that I think is kind of similar to World's Greatest Dad in the fact it's it's about lies, but it's kind of the flip side of that. It's kind of my take on All Hail the Conquering Hero, where it's a heroin addict who's been living on the streets, and his family thought he was dead, so he told them that he couldn't get in touch with him because he's been in the black ops in Afghanistan. So he becomes a war hero in his tiny town, but he's just a fucking junkie. Another really commercial idea. Oh, you're gonna love it when he steals money from the leukemia child. So stories about those guys. Like after the mountain line, I sit next to this ranger who's a Bigfoot enthusiast, and he says, it's really late at night, and like I said, we're out in the middle of the woods, and he goes, I'm a writer too. And I go, oh, really? What do you write? He goes, well, you know Twilight? I go, who doesn't know Twilight? Sure. I write novels, coming-of-age stories for tweens set in the Bigfoot community. I go, what's the name of them? He goes, well, the first one's Yeti or Not. Look it up. It's available on eBay. One of the things I'm excited about was is that we're having we're going through the Pacific Northwest, Alexi, Bryson, and I, and we're just pulling up into theaters and you know, we're opening it like a Bill Castle picture, you know what I mean? So I'm really, that'll be a lot of fun.
Well, so that, I think we can all agree that this is something that absolutely needs to be seen with an audience.
I really don't know what to say. You guys genuinely really did touch me, and like I said, I've had a hell of a couple days lately, so I'm not usually this, I don't know, whatever. I guess some like my movies.
Bobcat, thank you so much.